Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hook Empath. I just like having these little talks and the way I feel about things. I was just lip syncing to AC/DC. It shook me all night long. Sometimes I got these in my shuffle. I'm like, why are they still here? Because, I don't know, they serve some significance. That's why people keep things around, right? Because they serve a purpose. Right? They keep people in your life to remind you of a time, even though they don't act the same way, but they reminded you of a time. Or you keep a trinket to remind you of an experience, a trip you took, souvenir. You know, we even carry souvenirs on our persons. We got souvenirs that we carry with us. Souvenirs. I think tattoos are scars from past lives. That's what I do. I think they come through in our DNA and our psyche and our spidey sense. And so, like, I had a shoulder wound, obviously. And when people have like whole sleeves and they succumb to their story, they've succumbed. Maybe because when I was 9, 10, 11, I read The Illustrated Man by Ray Bradbury, so it kind of planted some seeds, you know. So. But only I didn't take the ideology from that story. I was like, oh, I get the bits and piece parts about that, but I think it's more like this. You know, and you have people that just have like a sleeve on the arm or a sleeve on the leg, and they lost a limb. You know, they were an amputee in a past life from some sort. We all been through trials, tribulations, wars. Why are wars caused? People have conflict within themselves. And then they match that calamity with other people that they meet. Then they project that pain that they have by something that somebody that they don't even know reminds them of. And then they react. What do? I got to meditate state with Adrienne Elise in about 200 or 300. And the highest number I saw was 380. I was pretty blissed out when I came out of that meditate state, man. That was my first one. I don't like doing masses and stuff. I like Adrienne Elise, so, and, you know, if I like her, then the people that like her can't be that bad. So I went ahead and took a leap of faith. But see, the thing of it is, man, you get so blissed out, and then you come to, and you're like, oh yeah, this is reality. People still aren't self-soothing and shit. People are still, you know, looking on the external, on the outside for gratifications and serenity, solace, peace. And so this is why that we still get the shit that we get. We get the world we get because of the way we act. I was listening to Jesse Zaboter in Aquarius Rising Africa, episode 8, I believe. I believe it was episode 8. I'll just verify that quick. Episode 9, Rising Africa. I'm glad I checked. It's episode 9, and she goes through all the symbolism and tells you what that means. You know, I've been studying symbols my whole life. My mom had a boyfriend when I was very young. He's a Vietnam vet, and he was very full aware of MK Ultra and all that stuff. This is back in the 70s, so I've just always been looking for evidence. I remember him sitting me on his lap and flipping the Crest toothpaste over and saying, see these symbols? There was like stars and there was like a moon and 3 stars or something. And it was Procter and Gamble was the company. And he's like, this is, you know, and he went on about the Masonics because they tried to recruit my brother into a group called the Boys Brigade. And it's like its own subset, its own ideology from the Boy Scouts. We all know how creepy that is. And Larry Mom's boyfriend said no. He like went to one meeting, saw what it was about, how they were freaking grooming kids and stuff like that. And he's like, nope, he's done. You know, that's what they do. the stuff, you know, and they do it in plain sight, but Jessie goes through and she talks about all the symbols, you know, what they mean. It's kind of funny. They're cracking up because the camera's backwards. The camera's backwards. You want to hear a funny story about how you know, when things are divine, it doesn't, technology is just basically a means for things to get through, but basically there's no set standards in technology. If you get your shit to work, then good for you. And if you're in the algorithms where don't want you to be seen, then you're going to be pretty obscure. I've been obscure my whole life. Go ahead, Google Marge. I have stuff I put all my whole life out there, so it seems like I would be able to be found more. But anyway, oh, but it's funny because if I look at, like, go to all of my videos, this is really going to annoy me. The moon's in it. The sun's in it. The sun is a different path. So the parts of the tree that I used to use to freaking veil the extra shade, I can't use because the sun is lower because it's fall, so it's dropping. But it's in a weird. I wish other people would freaking pay attention to this shit, so I didn't feel like I was just the only one sometimes. So if you look at my old videos and scroll through and, like, look at all of them, it's funny because I use the same laptop, so it's the same camera. It's just my Mac, like 2016 or something. I bought this 15. So 14 maybe, I don't remember. Anyway, still cost too much. So I just used the laptop one, and but if you go down in my videos, I have over 1,000 videos, and if you scroll through, on some of the pictures, my tattoo's on this side, but on some of them, it's on my tattoo jumps. But I use the same camera. So if anybody tries, it's like when people, you know, if you call tech support and they have you go through all these checklists, you know, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? It's like, dude, they got a script they're reading because they don't know. They don't know. They don't know what makes things do this and makes things that. It's all divine, and that's what people are figuring out right now, that everything is freaking woo-woo. Everything is woo-woo. It's like, and everybody's percolating because, well, now I think we're out of Aries, the Aries sun position. So we're Taurus moon now, next couple days. So, but man, the last 2 days it just been, and I got a lot of water. So there's so much fire in the sky, but I have so much water. What does that do? It makes steam. Pressure. We're all alchemy, man. I was thinking about that today. How, like, flowers, I was watching the flowers. I put the flowers over on Noble's final resting place over there because they were finally at the end of their life. And I was like, you know how, like, I've always watched, because I worked in offices and people always, you know, they're getting flowers or something, you know, and so I like flowers. So I go visit people, get flowers, and you could see, like, which flowers die and wilt faster. See, the flowers are so joyful, but they feel the low vibrations in their environment, so that's why some flowers wilt. I believe some flowers wilt, and then some flowers, you know, they're tuned in the higher vibrational frequencies, and they last longer, you know, because some of these flowers, it's like they, you know, but we have a lot of freaking there's a lot of freaking bad juju in this place, man. I thought it was all me, but the more I keep freaking listening to people, you know, and, you know, stuff like spirit, I'm like, man, maybe this place is just straight up freaking, you know, haunted. But, you know, people get low, you know, that's what cancer is. You get a dis-ease, you're mad about something, and it doesn't sit well, and so you do some kind of behavior to make whatever, you know, instead of addressing whatever makes you mad and trying to work through it, because everything that makes me mad is because of how I look at shit. So only thing that, because I'm the only one having the experience in here. So if I'm mad, it's nobody else's fault. It's how I'm looking at it. But everybody lives externally, so everybody has to act accordingly so people can maintain happy. How many people live a life where I'll be happy if this happens? I'll be happy if this happens. I'll be happy if this happens. I did it for years. If I get the relationship, the house, the job, the car, then I will be happy and I won't, you know. And then I had all that and I was so freaking miserable, man. And I was like 200 pounds. And I was 5'3 3/4" at the time, but now I'm only 5'2". I lost 1 3/4 inches because I used to work too hard because I had short man's complex. So I'd always have to work too hard and do too much, and I used my body, and now things are crunched up. And I'm not as strong as I used to be. It's weird, man. I try not to think about all the stuff that the military injected in me and how that could adversely affect my endocrine system and already compromised endocrine system. Because I have Addison's disease. I know I do. I was born with freaking, at 6, I have all the, like, there's all these, I've got like, oh God. But the thing of it is my faith is bigger than my, I guess, knowledge of medical and stuff like that. So I know all about healing. I've been healing myself for years. Just healing, just trying to release the things that just piss me off. Because if I'm not careful, every little thing can piss me off. Because see, I have this mind that's like, I'm an alcoholic. And I don't know what it means to some people because it means different things to me. And what they've told me. And I just, and I don't even think, I think before I was ever an alcoholic, before I ever took my first drink, I just always saw things different than other people. But I also felt people's emotions, and I also lived in the narrative of how people felt and not how they acted. So I would get in trouble because people would be like, would feel threatened by me because they don't know how I know the personal stuff about them. And that's because I've had so much, I'm like a freaking radio receiver. And pretty much people are all the same. And you put them all in the same colleges. You put them, you put them in like every, I was gonna talk about. I'm gonna switch gears because it's loosely related on that, but it's kind of what I was gonna talk about. What I named the title of the talk: all of the October 3rds. See. I'm 46, so this is my 46th October 3rd. I don't like this freaking sport. I don't like the stretchy collar and stuff. I'm just like, nothing is comfortable right now. So I just gotta ignore. I'm not gonna look at me. I'm just gonna tell this story over here. October 3rd. Now, this is my 46th one. Now, when I think about certain October 3rds in life, I mean, they don't really particular play any, I mean, there's a couple of October 3rds that stand out, like the first time I went into the hair to get a haircut from this girl that I liked, and it could be the 4th. I mean, my memory could be fading, but it's like the 3rd, 4th. It's the energy. It's around this time, and like here, it seems like it was probably close to 80. It was hot in the sun today. I don't know what temperature was. I'm not even going to say because I'm not good at temperatures. But my point is like, if I, I'm just use October 3rd as an example because that's today's date. But every year has every date, 365, right? Well, I relate that to people that are born on the same day. Okay. So you have all these people that that are born today. You have some people that are actually being born today, and then people of all ages that have been born in history, the last 80 or 100 years, And then I think about a disco ball and the little mirrors on the disco ball. And for that date, every person born on that date, in history, the people that haven't been born, they all have these, they're all kind of just the same version, different carbon copy of a different energy, right? And I know people because I looked at people who were born on my birthday. Do it with your birthday. My birthday is April 9th. So some people that I have share the same birthday with: Hugh Hefner, little Rudy Huxtable on Bill Cosby, Dennis Quaid, Jenna Jameson, a lot of these people have really had the same, like Jenna Jameson and I, we've crossed paths before, and because we've been in different places in the United States, and we were born like 2 hours apart from each other. She was born in San Bernardino, I was born in San Bernardino, and she was born in like Los Angeles or Las Vegas, or one of those two. Very, very close, like same latitude. I don't know what time she was born, but we were born on the same day. And like her dad was a sheriff. My father had been in like, you know, he was a correction officer, and then he worked in these control paradigms too, and you know, anyway, my point is so people that are born on these aspects, you know, is like I think that pretty much people are like the same, and yeah, they have different frames of references and different histories and things like that, and all of these aspects, all of these people, all what we're supposed to learn from people is, okay, this is what happens when you live from spirit, and this is what happens when you live from ego. Because there is, all the world wars have all been spiritual wars. We are in the midst of the biggest spiritual freaking war, and the whole universe, the whole cosmos is all eyes on Earth right now. What are people gonna do, man? Are they gonna freaking live for the light, or are they pulling for the Lucy fairy tale theater, you know? Because up until now, they've been perpetuating I mean, and they don't even kid, and they don't even play, and they don't even, you know, hide it. And now, but we're, you know, because of people like Jesse and other survivors coming forward, they're teaching us all the hands. So I'll be like, so hey, what chapter of Lucifer are you into? What are you, one of them Masonics? What are you, one of them Jesuits? You know, which one are you? You know, is that your kid? You know, is it where's your mommy, little, you know, just start busting these people out. And I think a lot of indictments are being signed right now. That's what I think. I think a lot of indictments are being signed right now. Hi, squirrel. Stanley, I see the squirrel. Do not go to squirrel, Stanley. I don't even like asking him to fight his own will. He's the squirrel's up on the... I put little pieces of bread and stuff up, like apple cores and stuff on the little thing, and he finds them. So it's not a trap, Stanley. So people are coming. I see a lot of people coming into their light side. So many people are coming to Jesus right now. So many people are coming to Jesus. I've been thinking about a lot of I've been thinking a lot about Isaac Cappy today, and you know, all the truth, you know, and that's the thing, is because all this stuff that is coming out that I've been studying for years, you know. I mean, I was at Offutt Air Force Base in Omaha, Nebraska, where the Mockingbird, you know, Operation Mockingbird, Looking Glass and stuff like that. That's where, yeah. I saw all the freaking, you know, the old equipment back in the storeroom with all that shit, you know. It's all pageantry. They do what they want. They do what they want. And then if we say, hey, that ain't right, you can't do what you want, then they do what they did to Assange and throw him in jail. You know, tuck him away. I hope that guy gets out soon, man. I really hope, man. He deserves a lot of justice, man. See, because there's so many good people. See, there's so many good people in the military. There's so many good people in all these organizations. But the thing of it is the good people got drowned out by the freaking wicked. Their voices got muffled. They got kicked out, and a lot of people got freaking blacklisted, you know, just because of the nefariousness, you know. And another thing that Jesse and Chantel and Monet were talking about today were, you know, all the maritime laws and the maritime rules that Maxell, that Epstein's chick lady, because, you know, all these rich people, they all, you know, they're all into yachts and stuff like that, and we all know what happened to Jerry Falwell Jr. You know, he's got his big old yacht, that young girl, you know, that he was kidding around. That dude's such a gross pig. And they're all gross pigs, man. They're all freaking disgusting, gross freaking pigs. The women, too, that do it, too, you know, because they don't care about human life. They don't care about spirits. Well, they do. They just like consumption and eating them. and freaking using the power and instilling fear in people. I don't even like raising my voice and the dogs get scared. I feel bad. So I don't. It's not something that's in me because I've been the recipient of such trauma. See, usually the people, what happens is you have people that have been the recipient of trauma and they go the other way. They go into a dark place, and so they learn to perpetuate it. I never did that. I never did that. I never wanted to hurt people because I always believed and understood about karma. And you don't wish bad things upon people because our words create reality. So you don't. And I saw too many things. I wish I wish that. And then it would happen and I'd be like, oh gosh, I can't wish bad things on things. And then there's consequences of the stuff that happens, because bad shit, People are like, that doesn't happen. Yeah, I keep freaking thinking about it. And people are focusing on the negative. And that's what the fearmongers want you to do, is just keep focusing on the negative. They just want you to think about all the bad shit instead of thinking about all the good stuff. Thinking about all the good stuff is the only way the world's going to change. And people meditating and cleaning up their diet and getting out and getting exercise and moving all of that negative energy out of you, that low density stuff that causes disease. People have all the power to change the situations of their lives. It's just, I guess, easier to sit and freaking bitch about it. So, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, it ain't easy to stay positive, but bless and release. Bless and release. Bless and release. I got to go for a little walk today because I was supposed to get Mom ice cream when I went out earlier and I didn't. So when she was, can I get a half a cup? She always wants like a half a cup and then she wants 3 halves of cups. She's good. She's, God, I just want her to be happy, And I was watching Sam Geppy. I can't. We're in a different place, so I'll check back with him at the end of the year because he's still stuck on freaking the president not wearing a fucking mask. I'm like, dude, we're about to be in winter, and there are so many people that don't have a place to live all over California. So many people. I'm like, there's fucking bigger problems than that. People are past the freaking pandemic, the scamdemic. They're past it. They're, it's like new false flag, It's like, dude, get on with it, man. Yeah, the second wave came and whatever, dude. And it's frustrating because freaking I see all the stuff that Ricky Gervais too. He's on it too. I'm just like, you guys don't go listen to fucking. Dude, that chick is putting so many people... Sorry about all the people that everybody loves that they're going to find out are terrible, gross, disgusting human beings. Sorry for ya. I never liked Anderson Cooper. I never liked a lot. I did like Lady Gaga, but I just don't. I don't like her anymore. I don't like her anymore at all. And if I wasn't one that didn't look at things as regrets, I only looked at them as life lessons. If I did take on regrets, maybe that would be one of them. But she never said she. Well, I mean, shoot. Let's see. She has following. She refers to her following as little monsters. I didn't know she was so tight with freaking Abramovich. See, in Abramovich, her parents were high up in the military, too, in Ukraine. Her mother was like a general or something like that. So her mother is a control freak. She couldn't even... She had to lay in the same position all night long. She wasn't allowed to roll over because there would be hell to pay. She escaped her family when she was like 27. And her mom let her do art classes and stuff like that and go to exhibits. And then one night she met Ule... and they went to like a part. She ran off with them to Amsterdam, and her mom's like, my daughter's been kidnapped, and they're like, how old is she? 27. No, she's not kidnapped. She's left on her own accord, you know what I mean? She's, but see, it's the origin story. People, you know, she could have gone it. She could have ended up like negating all that darkness in her life and gone and just been like a really freaking phenomenal artist. But she succumbed to the dark, and now she's a Luciferi freaking high priestess, and you know, Lady Gaga's and freaking Beyonce, and they're all for the dirty sex magic, you know, the tantric sex magic. They're not tantric, but the nasty stuff that brings, you know, makes people do terrible things, and then they're like, oh, I didn't mean to. I felt so dirty today. I thought about like AA and all the years I went. And it works. I mean, I miss what it was. It ain't the same way because they all succumb too. Then I think about the people in it, you know. And then I'm like, how many people, you know, just told their sponsor, like, oh yeah, I was drunk in a party when I was 19, and you know, this girl said no, but you know, and he got it off his inventory, and he ain't never had to go to jail. But it's cool because you told your sponsor, you know, that shit. And then I wonder how many sponsors freaking hold that shit against them. Because somebody said that they said, hey, he's infiltrated too, and I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, freaking so and so does talk about being in the CIA, and her dad was the freaking Surgeon General of the Air Force, so, and we were at Offutt, you know, right outside of Offutt, and they had been there for, you know, 40 years and stuff, and oh, okay, yeah, that adds up. But the fact of the reality is I'm never gonna know. I'm never gonna get the, you know, it's like, oh, okay, that could be true, and or it's false. The thing of it is, you know, there's liars and fakes all over the place, and they can continue to be liars and fakes, but energy doesn't lie. And the reason why the world has been allowed to go on for the way it is because we haven't stood up, or I have. I've always called bullshit, but I haven't seen a whole lot of people standing up next to me as I'm calling bullshit through my life. And if I look around the world, I mean, we're getting bullshit calls here and there a little bit, but there's a lot more bullshit that's happening than is getting called out. I never liked that Charlize chick and Saffron, you know. And then there's a storyline, see, because you know how when I often say, you know, you don't harm animals or kids, because there's a storyline about you have the gross, freaking nasty perverts that like to watch freaking apes rape kids. Yeah. Their little bestiality parties and stuff like that. Kids don't live through that stuff. But that doesn't happen. Look at all the, see, because you have so many organizations to fix all these problems, like missing kids, you know, these orphanages and all this stuff, you know, and Mother Teresa was a human trafficker, you know, and all this stuff. But people are like, that's not, they say that's not how it is because they can't believe the reality of a world with all this disgusting stuff in. Well, I can, because I was raped when I was 10 months old, when I was a little baby, and all this other stuff happened, and my mom escaped us out of freaking Central California because she had an inner knowing. I remember storylines about how they wanted to take you to Montana, and I'm like, oh, now they're like, oh God, maybe just because I'm a little brown girl, little fat brown girl, maybe they think that I'm one that they want to chase in the woods and hunt, because, you know, when you got money, it's all ego. And I mean, these are all storylines on Longmire and stuff too, you know. Art imitates life because life imitates art, because it's all the freaking same. They just have TV shows and do stuff like that, so they show, look, this is what we do and this is what we practice in real life right in front of your faces, you know. And this is the biggest freaking, as far as I understand, Halloween is the biggest freaking ritual month of the year. Well, there's good rituals and there's bad rituals. I'm not in any alignment with anybody that harms any animal, takes any blood, any freaking, any life juice, essence, including fear, anything like that from kids or animals at all under any circumstances. So, yeah, the witches that like to, you know, dance in the moonlight and freaking light a candle for this intention, or, you know, put some roots, you know, or stuff like that. Yeah, to each his own. But, you know, I noticed that they're going to do a couple things because we haven't had these cycles again. So they're going to bring back psychiatric wards, and they're going to start trying to demonize this because they're already doing it to Q, and Q just wants this whole Q-bert thing, trying to make that all dastardly and stuff. But like extrasensory people, because that's what they did back in the 80s and 90s. All these, extras, they freaking just locked them all up and sedated them and drugged them and stuff, and then they let them out all on the street. So now we got a whole, yeah. I don't like when people refer to other people as zombies. It's just human beings that are void of spirit, They're just so hurt and broken because nobody cares. I understand what it feels like when nobody cares. When it feels like nobody cares. I completely understand what it feels like when you fall through the cracks, Like, I'm a college-educated person that, worked at one of the biggest companies in the world in the IT department, and the city won't work with me to turn the water on? Come on! Why, because they don't like me? I thought there's policies and standards and procedures, but what people are finding out that ain't how it is. That the world is contingent on who's in charge and how they feel that day. And, people are figuring out that there's only, eight people that run the whole world? The new world out of order. The new world out of order. So the only thing that's going to fix it is if people get balance within themselves. That's it. That's the only thing that's going to fix it. That's the only thing that is if people get calm within themselves, and then they go out in the world and they're not matching calamity. So whatever people are, whatever meltdowns people are having, they're watching the meltdown, and they're not going to melt down with the person. You know what I mean? Well, are people still? It's hard to tell, like, who's still protesting and stuff like that. I see stuff up in. It's just too much shit. It's just too much crap. Then there's nothing to watch. I didn't read the Bible today. I did meditate today, though. Got some round table vegetarian vegetable pizza with white sauce. Yum. That was pretty good. What else? I think I pretty much talked about everything I wanted to talk about. It's just one day at a time, and sometimes it's 1 second at a time. But today I've been mostly high vibe. Kitty. No! I don't like that look on your face. How's everybody else out in there doing? That's rad, divided we fall, hey. Welcome. I'm just trying to keep... It's squirrel time. It's prime squirrel time. So the cat wants to... This is for you, if you're still here, homie. This is for you. I'll show you around. You like the trees? See, this has been my saving grace. Right? Oh, didn't want to do that. Put that on my mouth. See, this is... Here's Kitty. Stanley, do not run off. Stanley jumped over there one day down in that creek. It was about a 27-foot jump. That's where I get my water for my toilet. Not there. I go down there over by the alcove. Uh-oh. There he goes. I'll be right back. Kitty. Oh, you want it? You're going in? Okay. And then you can hear the kids shrill back there. That is their tree. See, when I was here for the eclipse, the Great American Eclipse, it came up through these trees right there. So I saw it like right up here. I got pictures of it. And then now the path of the moon is way over here. And it didn't even come out last night. Weird stuff's happening. Stuff is happening. It ain't one day. It used to be like, I remember like in the newspaper and stuff like that, they'd be like have sunrise and sunset, you know, and now it's just so weird. Allison Coe put out a new video too. She hasn't put out anything in a couple months. She is a hypnotherapist. I track a lot of hypnotherapy stuff, like, and Allison Coe is one, and then Edgar Casey. He was like the one of the first ones. And Dolores Cannon, she's big into it. See, because we all have the same thoughts, because we all have the same experience, because we're all having the same life, you know. So like you know, since we're here, so if you're still here, Brady, see, I know that I met you too. I know that you and I've met, because before you said, I know I've met you before, I watched your video like 3 days prior to that. I'm like, he's familiar to me. I know him from someplace. And I can't pitch. And then it was 3 days after that you said that, and then that's when you mentioned that you had been in Omaha. And that's when I was like, that's where I saw him. That's where I saw. I know we've crossed paths. And he said that he lived there a couple years, and then he'd come back and visit his dad, and things like that. I was at Offutt Air Force Base, and then I worked at West Corp, the phone line company, and then I worked at Creighton, like we established last night. You and that girl that you dated worked there, you know. And there's tunnels under Creighton. I know where the tunnels are under Creighton. There's a concrete slab between the library building and the cathedral, and that big cathedral. If you go, Brady, if you go to wendy.com and click on the webcam right in the middle of the United States, it points down at that cathedral. I can't remember. I don't care about the name of the cathedral. Everybody, it's an annoyance, because people get married there and stuff, and I'm just like, I'm trying to get to work. Get out of my way. You know, because you got to be in a club to, you know, and all this stuff. And then so it's right under, but it points at the cathedral, and there's this. It looks like it's just like a vent for power stuff underneath. But if you lay down, you can roll under there and go down underneath there. Yeah. So that lines up with all the nasty nefariousness stuff that Jesse Zaboter talks about too. So, and when I worked at TD, I did work at TD Ameritrade only for a couple weeks. That was the first job out of my. I don't even have that one on my resume. No. TD Ameritrade. Is that the title? Because I worked at a title company, and that place was run by a bunch of cokeheads. That place was awful. But when I worked at G4S, I worked at the Landmark building. So on my lunch break, I just, if it was nice out, I'd grab my Cramor and go walk around all over the place. My favorite restaurant is Block 16. That was my favorite restaurant too. So, and also I went to freaking meetings of recovery for freaking 13 years, and I went to a lot of them. So, if you know, I wore bow ties and shit like that, so it's not like I was hard to miss, you know. Welcome, viewed as Q. Edgar Casey, yeah, see, and that's the thing is, I knew that he was from Virginia Beach, and that's how I got to get my osmosis stamp, my imprint, energetic imprint, because when I came back from Operation Iraqi Bullshit, we flew from Crete to Naples, Italy. We were there just for a couple hours, and then back into Virginia Beach. You know, I knew something was up with Virginia Beach, because their per diem is like freaking outrageous. You know, so you have all these guys, oh, just fly in, oh, you get this much money, because they got their base pay, but they got all this extra freaking shit, and depends on who you are, you get all this extra freaking shit. I mean, they don't pay for nothing in the military. We pay for all their stuff. Only the maintainers never got the parts that they needed, because they were too busy with the pony show, you know, and building their freaking new Stratcoms and stuff like that. I think they're on their second or their third one since I left. You can't use the flight line, you know. The flight line's closed, because I think still I'm not sure about that, but from being flooded last year, it was underwater. Yeah, that was pretty wild. Because it ain't right next to the Missouri. I mean, the Missouri had to grow and breathe. I mean, that was some freaking karmic retribution right there, you know. But in Operation Mockingbird and Looking Glass, I think Looking Glass, one of those was up out of freaking Fairbanks. I remember this stuff up. One of them was out of there. But here's a trippy thing. If you go to my Instagram or just Google, look up the lyrics to that weird song, that Mockingbird. Papa, I remember when I was a baby, my dad sang that, and I freaking like squirmed out of it. I'm like, get away from me. I hated that song. I hated it. And look up the words. It's really weird. It's really eerie. They've been trying to mind control us freaking forever. Forever they've been trying to freaking hijack our minds with advertising. You know, I mean, who didn't know, us 70s kids, who didn't know that, they play certain music to make you shop, you know, and everything's about money. Well, that was true for a while too, but now it's just about freaking eating people and power and consumption and ego and, you know, P. Diddy freaking, you know, having dudes blow him just because that's what power is. If you can get a straight man to suck your dick, that's true power. I'm like, dude. That ain't power I freaking want, man. I never even liked P. Diddy. Ugh. Because I know what a creep is. I know what a creep is, and people gotta de-creep right now. Because de-creeping is the only way that this earth is gonna vibrate at a higher frequency. Well, actually, here's the thing. I totally retract that last statement. This earth is going to vibrate at a higher frequency. It's the low vibrators that they're going to have to raise in frequency, or they ain't going to make it in the new earth. They're not going to make it. They're not going to ascend. They're not going to ascend. They're just going to freaking succumb to their ego. And careful about freaking intoxicants right now. Oh my gosh. Because whatever you're going to consume, I don't care if it's alcohol, I don't care if it's, you know, we are extra sensitive because we just came through that Aries full moon, and that brings all of the stuff to the surface that we haven't dealt with. So all that stuff is like, so people are feeling like tongues on a 9 volt battery. I like to, like, sometimes I feel like my skin's inside out. I'm just like, ugh! I know this shit ain't mine. It's everybody on the 45th parallel that don't know how to freaking calm themselves down, because I know how to calm myself down. So, but the good news is more and more people are taking healthier choices. And Brady, I love seeing you make your bed. I can't wait to, I don't really, I have a blanket I throw on top, you know. I'm always on my bed. So I'm not really, but one day I'll get back to a place where I'll be able to make my bed. Because, God, I miss getting into a freaking nice clean sheets. I had a king size bed. I had it. I'm going to go out to Oregon, and then my freaking life blew up because, you know, I was not on the path that my path got me here, but then it switched when I got here. And then I started seeing all the evil shit like everybody else. We're all, you know, some of us like get knowings about things because, like, of my military experience, I was on the inside to see all the freaking fraud, waste, abuse, corruption, swinging dicks, who's in charge, how they feel about that day, all that crap. That's why I only did 6, because of the swinging dicks. Because I couldn't stand it, because I'm just like, I'm never, you know, and plus I ain't a tester. I hate tests. I don't like tests because I can see the possibility for a couple different answers, and they only want one, and I'm like, nah, so I just guess on a bunch of stuff, because then I don't pass tests. So I tested for sergeant once. I was never Sarge Marge, but often people call me Marge in charge. So they just call me Marge, because I was never militant. I was never there, and there's so many other people there that it's just like, this is just my job. you know? I'm just going to work, you know? And then after all that shit, after baby bitch Bush freaking did the, you know, the false flag in NYC, and he taxied by he taxied by my aid shop. I flipped him off out the hangar door. I say it all the time just because I don't know who hears. I flipped baby Bush off the hangar door out the aid shop on 9/11 as he taxied by. Because he came to go hide in the bunker and talk about, oh, we got him good this time, didn't we? Popping bottles and shit. I know that fucker was doing that shit. You know, so then they'd fly out to freaking Virginia Beach and out, you know, other bases, wherever, play a couple, because it's, you know, it's about 3 hour flight from wherever, right in the middle of the United States. So these big wigs, let's go out and let's go play a few rounds of golf, you know, out at the club on the East Coast or the West Coast or wherever, you know, play a few rounds of golf. We'll just call it a training mission. So everything's training. They do what they want. It's all training. I'm like. And don't say, like, that's a bunch of bullshit. One year, you know, as a trip, I was thinking about all the stuff that they put, because they give us flu shots and stuff like that. And I just mostly ignored it and stuff. And then one time they gave us I call it the floozy. I called it the floozy because they had probably, like, because there are 800 people in maintenance. So that's a big price tag. 800 units for big pharma, guaranteed for every, you know. And the floozy was stuff that they had us put up our nose. It's weird. Yeah. I pretended like I didn't. I just took it and went, I didn't even do it. I'm just like, nope. They put the anthrax vax in me. I think that's what, like, has really compromised my endocrines, my energy system the most, is the anthrax vaccine. Because you got to understand all these vaccines. It's the shit that they put in them. I think that was you that was talking about that this morning. Somebody was, I watched, because they're living off the grid, and they didn't want their baby, 5-pound baby to get this vaccine. And so they're like, well, you know, and because they looked it all up, and there's all this mercury. I still got mercury fillings. I used to just, you know, put mercury in your fillings, because Pockets of the Future just talked about having his replaced. And he was also talking about how a lot of people are having dental problems because so many people are stressed out right now. And that's I think about how many all accidents are every single accident that happens because somebody is thinking about something different than what they're doing. Every single one. Because I almost have accidents all day long. But I make myself move really slow because in my mind I want to race because I'm an Aries. So my whole life it's like, do what you're doing. Just do it faster. Hurry. Go, 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 go. Andale, vámonos. Move it, move it, move it, move it. I'm just like up here all the time. So that's why I like my flour cookies. Keeps me down here. I used to like being up here, man, but the recoup is not as easy as it used to be, and I'm glad that unfortunately, like on reports around where I live, alcohol sales is going up too. That I don't like seeing that. Alcohol is the most toxic, foul tool of manipulation ever created. And and you see all these famous people that are buying vodkas and stuff because they like to take the spirit, and they're out of their juicy chrome, so they gotta freaking play with the spirits in some kind of way. Yep. Yeah, lots of golf around there. Yep. Yeah, under the, yep. Oh, the bullshit under the, hell, they freaking, oh, the bullshit. I wonder if there's this whole space farce thing has anything to do with maritime law. I wonder if that's what the creation, if they're doing everything in space, if they're bringing in things for maritime law, because Jesse Zabor has been talking about it, because all these perverts and they all do this stuff. There's all these like hotels and nice fancy places underwater in countries too, where they have all these little exclusive parties, we'll just call them that. We were 2 points away. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even think I don't even know if I looked. And it's so funny because like people are in basic, they're getting out now, but they're like all like master and stuff like that. But I see the ones who got master, and then the ones who never made like just it's all a club. Everything is a club. Everything is a club, and if I ever and the thing of it is I hate clubs that are like related to membership only required, or paid membership required. It just takes the spirit, I believe, of inclusion for everyone. Even that's the thing is, people are going to have to start to learn how to forgive these freaking nasty, pervert, disgusting human beings, because hating them, that's not what's going to get us there. We got to forgive these people, not condone the behavior, hate the sin, not the sinner, put the sinner away, but you don't get to, you don't. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, not us. See? And so many people are reacting out of anger. I'm like, they're winning. They're winning. Whenever people get mad, talk about hang them up, gut them, do all the stuff that they do, they're still winning. God bless your soul, and may God have, it's that stuff that's going to get us there. Not, I hate you and you're going to die. I can't believe, even when I wasn't into Trump 4 years ago, I'm into him now. He's a cool dude. He's a Heyoka. We have the same placements, like 3 major placements. I know how the man thinks. And we throw shade the same way. Like, if we don't like you, you're going to know we don't like you. And I dig him for that. But even when I didn't like him, never ever once of the people that I just haven't liked in life, never have I ever wished wished ill will or hoped death or anything. There have been times that I have wished upon dickheads that on the way to the bathroom, when they're half asleep, you just got to get up, go pee, and you're going to go back right to sleep, that kind, like, just got to get that they freaking stub their toe on the door jamb on the way in before they piss. I'll wish that on somebody. If they're just mean to like a waitress or somebody, that they think that they're better than, I'm like, God, I hope they freaking jam their toe in the way to the pisser tonight. But that's it. Not even a broken bone, just enough to remind you, oh my gosh, you thought you were cool. Because I try, I hope I don't ever think I'm too cool. It's like, what are they? Somebody's not following the rules. See, that's how we are. That's when I see like people in the Senate and stuff like that. I picture them as their inner child. I picture people as they were in their kids. So I see like these big people in these big like $10,000 suits, and they're like, maybe we'll help the poor people of America. We sent them a $1,200 check some months ago. Now, granted, these are people that are still getting paid tens and thousands of dollars every month. Tax-free, exempt. All of it. It's all, but you see what I mean? So there's so many different storylines right now. I'm trying so hard not to grasp onto any one storyline and just be present in this moment, because it seems like everybody else is just like hanging on to storylines. Different it's timeline storylines, it's all the same. Like how things are going to go. I wonder if everybody just like tried to be void of like, for just a couple minutes of just give it to a power that's outside themselves and not, try and control something in any capacity and just be for a moment. Oh, I think that things would recalibrate. That was cool. Yeah, that was cool. things would recalibrate and people would settle down, man. I love, like, that I watched a video of a guy and his wife and their kids, like I mentioned earlier, that are living off grid, and I'm like, I would like to do that. I just need a place like the size of a living room where I can put mom in it in her bed. Hey, squirrel, what up, homie? You got squirrel, you got all right, you got a walnut, homie. Good for you. Where she can be warm, you know, and like watch, because I could put the dresser in it, and then the TV. I got Longmire. That's her favorite show. She just watches them over and over. Sometimes we'll watch other stuff, but whenever I ask her, she just wants Longmire. So, alright, so I got them on DVD. So, like, if the power goes out, all I got to do is get a generator and plug in the TV and the, you know, stuff like that, you know. But I would like to live, you know, a little less primitive. Because I don't do good in the cold, man. I freaking don't like the winters. I do not like the winters because I worked on the flight line at Offutt, see? I learned to layer up. I got myself stuck in a bobcat. I'm like the Gomer Pyle, man. I was like the Gomer. I freaking ran out of gas at the gas pump, and I was raising the bucket up to get out, and it stopped right at the door. Some guy from Jet Fuels or something came over to use a gas pump. I'm like, hey dude, will you go in there and tell somebody to come out and get the key to this pump and put gas into this thing so I can get out of here? I got the flight line closed down one time. I was coming back from hanging out with my friends at a noon lunch, hanging out with some friends of Bill W., some mutual friends, and I came back and people were like walking in from the shop, and it was like 1:15. I'm like, lunch is over. What are you guys doing? And they're like, where do you get the flight line shut down, Marge? I was like, what? What happened was I went over to parts. I was the Toto. Isn't that funny? I was Toto. That was my job, Toto. That is so funny to me. I was the technical order distribution officer for the tech orders for the libraries. Every maintenance action you perform, you gotta have the book open to the page, and stupid freaking bullshit rules. and I went over to the parts, over to Building D, the big building to get parts. It's Building C. D's across the way, I think. It was the guy. Is like, it was one of those things that he gave me 3 packages, but it was like 1 of 1, 2 of 1, and he handed it to me. And so they were all together, so I thought there were 2 boxes, but there were 3. Or I put 2 boxes in, and he grabbed the 3rd one, and so that's what it was. I can't remember. It was freaking 18 years. It was 15 years ago. I don't remember. Fact is I thought there were 2 boxes, and there were 3 boxes. So I was in my golf cart, and then I had to go back to another shop on the way back. And when I went back to the other the shop on the way back, I'd gone around the corner, and one of the boxes fell off, evidently. And then when I went back to the aid shop, I checked in. Okay, I got my parts, you know. And then somebody saw the box on the flight line, called it in as a suspicious package, and then they closed the whole flight line because it was a box. It was a part. But I was at a meeting, so I didn't know about it till I got back. Oops. You were at Minot? Oh, fuck Minot. Oh, my God. Offutt was bad enough. I drove up to Sioux Falls one time, so I got to go to South Dakota. I didn't do the Mount Rushmore and stuff like that. I kind of wish I will do, maybe, God willing and the creek don't rise. But that just does not even sound like fun. Why not? I did go to Fairbanks 2 times. Both times, one in October, it was like October, and the other time it was November, or maybe it was November, December. But both times it was like ridiculously cold. Well, it wasn't, it was, Omaha's been as cold as it was up there, but it was Up there, it was like my first time, my only time. I don't know, when I experienced only dusk light for 4 or 5 hours. I'm like, no, I need sun. This is. I didn't like that. I didn't do. We were only there for a couple of weeks both times, but I started getting real squirrely after. Nope, I didn't like that at all. All day, nighttime. Nope. And then it was so cold. I remember like going outside to smoke a cigarette in the smoke pit and just going, smoking is not that important. Why do you, I would not even smoke if I lived here. I'd quit smoking. It was just when it's that cold, I just think it's inhumane. It's not really that bad. It really isn't. I layer up. I still have I have my parka. Did you have one of those gray parkas with the freaking white fur? See, that's the thing, is if you're cool, and you're walking over, and this guy has the key to the storage unit, you open it up, and there's all this freaking shit. It's like army surplus in there, and people just load it up. We have people that freaking take light-alls home to their parties, because they're working generators, too, with the big light on them. Take them, plug in the stereo, whatever. People just do whatever they want, but if you're a dick, and if they don't like you, then you'll get in trouble. And I was always the person that was just like, fucking, this is just such bullshit, man. Who's in charge and how they feel that day? So, I was the W downer. I was the one that believed in, that thought that the people that what they were doing was not right. So, I only did 6. That's all I could do. B-52s and heaters. Yeah, see those heaters. Those heaters. That's why I get... People are like, oh, cops. Oh, police. I'm like, okay, this is my experience with police. They are the second lowest test scores in the military. And some of them are really spoiled little bitches. And then they go in the military and they continue to be little spoiled little bitches. And they would do things like take our heaters and fuck them up. And jack up all the fucking heater ducts so they could like put them in their windows of their car, so because they blow so hot they would just modify, or put them in their little cock shafts or do whatever they want, but they'd break the equipment. And see, because of how the military is, it's like the hospital where they say, paper clips are $1,000. They've had washers that are $3 million. You think the prices on Mayfair are high? You should look at some of these supply chains in the military because of their friends that they know. Well, these AC ducts, or these heater ducts and AC ducts too, they get them and they're like $10,000, like $15,000 for one duct, and they're a pain in the ass because they spread out and they're really long. And when you bunch them up, you can bunch them up and they're like this. But when you spread them out, they're for days, but it's such a pain. And I was always tiny, so I'm like fighting it to get it clipped, and then when they bend all the ends, and stuff like that, it's because it's not their shit and they don't care about it. Because people with egos, in the play, they get everything. They get all the goods, they get all the guns, they get all the fun shit, they get all the cars, they don't even have cars anymore. They're all SUVs. And they're all teched out, Every single one of those uses gotta be $70,000-$80,000, but that's okay because we pay for it all. And then when they get out of the military, because I see, you know how people are by how they treat people that can't do anything for, or that don't, and people just always, oh, you're just the dyke girl, I was just always the dyke, the dumb gay girl. I was just always that's just all that's what people see me, and that's all they see. So I really give it to them sometime. That's what they want. That's what I give, so, but no, I don't do that. I don't, but I'm me. And then they're like, well, now I kind of feel like a jerk, but I've had a lot of people in positions of authority put me in a certain kind of place just because they recognize that I'm a strong female woman and that I will say things. And so people like to put me in my place because of that. They always have. So I just have found comfort in any place I am, whether people are going to grant me, whatever it is that I want. I'll go to a place, I want to buy. I've been kicked out because people don't like my kind and stuff like that. I'm like, well, what exactly is, what kind am I? Which kind? Is it the brown kind? Is it because I'm single. So orientation shouldn't have anything to do with it because I'm single. So which kind You know, and then then the governments impose all this mass shit, and so that puts individual scrutiny in the eye of everyone, so people can just turn people away just based on whatever. It's always been who's in charge and how they feel that day. That's why I don't ever want to be in charge of anybody. I don't want to be in charge of people. I want people to be autonomous within themselves, to make the choices to do decent and not freaking hurt people, you know, and not care so much about money. That, God, so many people need things right now. Basic. Roof over their head, running water, electricity, enough food for their family, you know. And these fucking systems, they're not made to give these people things like that. So we got to get real creative to come back as a community and just start camping and freaking hanging out and providing and just making the best of it with what we got. And the more hands, less work. And then you like, I ain't going to Texas, thanks. I'm just gonna. I appreciate that invite, but I'm not going to Texas. I've been to Texas. I'm not doing that. It's too far for Mom. If I can't manifest something closer to where I'm at, then maybe I should really consider the option that, you know, maybe there is a place better for her than I can provide. So, wow, how's that for a startling reality? But let's just hope that, you know, God sees fit to come through for a place for us in the next 17 days. TikTok, yeah. But all I got is today, October 3rd. And we got a faith in God, and we got a community going on, and the thing is we got all these people that are connecting from the same heart space. They're all connecting from the same heart space. Because everybody's raising in frequency right now. Everybody is. And a lot of people are not boating very well. It doesn't feel comfortable. Higher frequencies don't feel comfortable for me. Because, you know, it's not my love style. I like calm and nice, and, you know, I don't like all that abrasion and all that stuff. That's just, whoa. That's like energy hijacking to me. So when things get up here, I'm like, why is everything up here? You know, I like things when things are balanced, and people are just really not in their emotional control right now. They're not. And the whole rest of the year, it's only going to get... The potential is there for things to get a lot worse if people don't step into their better way of being, and step out of their wounds and their hurts and their justifiable angers and their you know, hurt feelings, you know. Justifiable anger is just such a very toxic, dangerous thing. Doesn't matter if you have a reason to be mad. It's the anger that's gonna freaking give you dis-ease. And you gotta lighten the load, man. Lighten the load. I'm saying this to me too. All this is for me too. So anyway, I better get back inside. I've been talking for like over an hour now, and I don't like doing that. I get carried away just like the rest of us. Hope you have a rad evening. Peace.